I can get published in Forbes for free.
There are 3 ways.
Wow.
Journalists never charge prices for publications.
You know, it's a little bit embarrassing to ask this question, but I'll try.
PR is when people talk about you when you are not in the room.
Any founder could get published for
$4 million US before the launch of the product. Sometimes just one drop in TechCrunch can raise your valuation so fast.
Is this scam? Hi, Anastasia here. Welcome to Much Watch Podcast. Here we explore how leaders, founders, and experts think, decide, and build, and how their communication, background, and mindset shape their path. And I'm happy to introduce our guest, Xenia Zakharova. Hi, Xenia. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. So, Xenia, could you tell us a few words about yourself, please?
I'm a global tech PR specialist. I help startups build strong reputations by creating a long-term PR strategy. And as a result, raise money easier and be acquired faster. For my last project, Glam AI, this is a photo video editor. I landed more than 20 publications and top media outlets and got into top 5 App Store ranks.
Wow, thank you for sharing. It's interesting about Glam AI case. As far as I'm concerned, they never raised money. Is that right?
Yeah, this is a bootstrap startup.
And it became profitable since month 6 or 7.
Glam AI became profitable in just 6 months.
Okay, that's amazing. Could you tell a few words about Glam AI?
Glam AI is a photo video editing tool for creators, for bloggers, influencers. It helps you create viral content in minutes. Not just minutes, I guess in seconds.
Sounds good. What did you actually do and still doing for Glam AI?
For Glam AI, I'm doing full cycle of PR work. We landed publications in tier 1 media outlets. We also covered blog posts. We should be visible on their links as well. And we applied our founder for conferences.
Okay, amazing. So I'm really curious to talk more about Glam AI and about your work as PR specialist. But before we dig into all this serious stuff, I just want to get to know you more as a person. So I like to start with a question that gives many guests a pause, to be frank. And the question is, who are you? And what experiences shaped you as a person and as a professional?
I would like to start with my philosophy degree that allowed me have a wide picture of the world and developed my sense curiosity and flexibility. It helps me predict how people will think because I already know how they thought and how they are thinking now. I discovered my passion in PR while I working part-time as a business assistant, where I was given the chance to try PR activities. And in just 1 month of working as a PR helper, I covered Forbes.
Wow. You star rocketed as a PR specialist. Forbes, just after you started work as a PR specialist. I definitely want to talk about that. But first, I want to touch upon a philosophy degree. I wonder if it's some kind of a trend, because you're the second guest with a philosophy degree. do
Yeah,
you, is it a trend? Am I missing on something?
I guess it's a US trend of education. Philosophy degree can open a lot of doors and opportunities for you, but a lot of people still don't realize it. In Russia, philosophy is not really popular as an education degree, but if we're talking about the USA, the first education as a philosopher is really essential because it can happen you see in what way you would like to develop your next years.
Okay, so it gives you some kind of an unfair advantage in terms of how you think about your business and your growth strategy.
Philosophy makes you an open-minded person. You are open to learn something new. religion, business approaches, finances, and so on.
Wow, sounds like an unfair advantage. Thank you for sharing. Now, let's talk more about what led you into PR industry because you started with a degree in philosophy straight out of college, right? And then you ended up in PR. How did this transition happen exactly?
I realized I know English and I would like to use my knowledge and earn more. And I met with one guy who invested in different projects and I asked him for a vacancy. He advised me to his business assistant and I started to work as his partner.
So basically, you got your first job in PR through networking.
Yeah, my first remote job I got by networking and I realized that we should have a full cycle of work. And later, I had a mentor who advised me how we can build this strong in-house team.
Great. Thank you. Now, it all sounds great. It all sounds amazing. But actually, let's start with a silly question. It's a little bit embarrassing to ask this question, but I'll try. What is the difference between PR and marketing?
I love the question. First, PR could be external and internal, and marketing is just external thing. We can measure PR results by quality metrics. Marketing one we can measure by quantity ones. And I guess here I would like to add a quote about PR, which I really love. PR is when people talk about you when you are not in the room.
So, PR helps you build reputation.
Yeah, PR about building reputation not just with your clients, not just with journalists, as well with your potential partners.
Sounds good. Sounds good. In what does the work of PR specialist look like in practice?
I wake up, I drink my coffee, and after that, I open my X or Twitter and started to follow new journalists. And also, I look for journalists I already followed up and I see what topics they are covering right now. Also, I open my LinkedIn page. I started to follow new ones and I would like to keep my connections with journalists I met before, for example, on conferences, on different meetups.
So, you're basically building your connections network.
Of course, I need to build my connections all time. And also I have a listicle of journalists I already met with, I already worked with, and I also update this listicle when it's necessary because some journalists change the angle, the topics they cover, and I need to update the listicle of my network in all time.
So, when you need to get a publication done, how do you approach it exactly? So, you have this list of connections. Do you just reach out to them, pitch in the article you want to publish?
I see what topics they cover and how they can cover about my project. I should shoot the angle correctly. We all should understand that journalists get a lot of messages every day. So if the angle is really interesting for journalists, for example, the editor is typing about technology. I can tell him or her about the technology we are preparing now in my project. Some journalists like just writing about money. Okay, I can send him or her our current press release when we would like to show our secure numbers. I can send them press releases under embargo.
Cool. So, you're basically carrying out audience analysis. Audience
Of
is the
course.
journalist, and you tailor your message so that it would interest them. Sounds reasonable, yeah. But tell me about how just after first months of working for Glam AI, you managed to land the publication in Forbes for them. How did that happen?
I found the contributor who covers about money about new technologies, and I tell them about our virtual try-on technology as a know-how for retailers. The journalist was really interested in it, and to be honest, I thought that I can get the publication and in 3 days. I was really naive here. My manager said that I will get a bonus if I will cover Forbes in 1 month. And my first thought was, 1 month, it's quite long.
I can do it in 3 days.
Yeah, I can do it in 3 days.
Did you do it in 3 days?
No, no,
How long did it take?
1 month.
1 month. So
Yeah,
you met the deadline, you got that bonus.
to be honest, no, because my
Oh,
manager was fired.
oh my God, I'm sorry. But
Yeah,
how common is it for a fresh specialist in PR to land a publication in Forbes? Is it a big achievement, would you say?
to be honest, later I tried to do it again, coverage in Forbes. I thought maybe not in 3 days, I can cover it in maybe 2 weeks. No, it became more difficult than I predicted.
Thank you for sharing. I've got a question about how important PR is to an early stage startup. Because PR, personally to me, it sounds like a very expensive endeavor. So, should startups of early stages even bother about their PR, would you say?
PR is essential for all business and especially for startups on early stage because great PR work can help you attract talents, and it's really hard to attract talents, also ambassadors, and all of these factors can raise the valuation of your company. If you're talking about raise money, it's also really important. My PR colleague shared with me one great case. She dropped more than 200 publications for the product, and the founder could raise 4 million US dollars before the launch of the product.
Not bad, but still it must be pricey, right? To get these publications done, especially in Forbes.
If you're talking about Forbes, I guess make a Forbes article is really cheap. If you're not talking about communication budget, we can do it for free.
Let's say I can get published in Forbes for free.
There are 3 ways. You can talk to editor and ask him to be covered in Forbes. The second option, you can become a contributor on Forbes by yourself. The price of it around 5,000 US dollars per year, and you can drop around 5 articles every month. You can tell about your product there. You can charge money for projects people you don't know. For example, I can ask you, please write about my product. And you, as a contributor, can write about my product, but not in a promotional way. We can see more visits on articles from editor, not from contributor. If SEO optimization is really important for your project, you should work with just an editor, not just a contributor. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
So
so there are editors and there are contributors.
contributors, yeah, and you can become a contributor.
I can
Uh,
become a contributor myself
yeah,
for
and help
5,000.
me. Yeah,
Okay. Got it, got it. Is there a way to get into Forbes for free?
yeah. If your topic is really interesting, if your product change the industry, of course, because the journalists really enthusiastic. They really like to type about interesting products who change the market. The same situation with contributors. They also would like to feel themselves as journalists, as editors.
So it's
And
like a business, right? You get this license of a contributor and then you sell other people this opportunity to be published in Forbes, right?
yeah,
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
if you just a headline important is important for you, you can work with contributor. But if we're talking about quality of PR work, we should communicate just with an editor.
Got it. Got it. And an editor is a journalist, right?
Yeah,
All right, let's say a startup of early stage thinks about whether to invest in their PR or not. When do you think is the best moment to start working on one's PR, investing in one's PR?
I guess when you already got your first round of investments, you should already start to work with PR. If you already start to build a product before the launch, you already should start to work with PR. PR specialists can give you some recommendations about how you should build the product because a good PR specialist see how the market is changing and can give you some advice. And usually, I guess you should sit with PR specialists in one room when you build the product, when you identify which values your product will have.
How much would you say it could cost to work with a PR specialist?
If we're talking about market, PR consultation can start from 300 US dollars. Depends on the region you work for. I guess PR specialist on the US region will cost more. In a great situation, you should work with experts in different time zones. In time zone you build product for, and one specialist in time zone you located in. And for example, if you're located in Dubai, it's better to have one PR manager in Dubai and one PR manager in California. For me, it's a great situation when you work in different formats with PR managers, PR assistants, PR specialists, like freelancers, and PR agencies. It can boost your PR work. But it's very important to foster an alignment among all these departments, all these people, because you have common goals. And especially when you work with press releases, because sometimes you should send the journalist press release under embargo, and it would be not really good.
What does it mean under embargo?
Embargo is that journalists can't publish your material till the certain time.
Okay, thank you. What other popular editions did you cover?
To be honest, the easiest coverage was in Forbes. We also covered Cosmopolitan, VentureBeat, California Observer, Tech Bullion, Yahoo Entertainment, Influencers Daily, and so on.
Interesting. So it was just a lucky coincidence, right? Because Forbes doesn't sound to be the easiest edition to get published in.
To be honest, for Russian native people, Forbes sounds crazy, but for international community, it sounds normal.
How much does it usually cost to land a publication in a tier one media? Forbes is tier one, I assume.
We can't talk about prices because journalists never charge prices for publications, especially in tier one media outlets.
How do journalists make money if they don't charge for publications?
Yeah, the platforms pay them for interesting contacts.
Right. So possibly any founder could get published in Forbes for free. Is that what you're saying?
Sure, of course.
Wow. Amazing.
I can help you with
Okay.
it.
Me? Are you saying I could get published in Forbes?
Yeah.
Amazing. Right. I guess it sounds really, really appealing to many, many founders. So imagine some founder wants to get published in Forbes. What should he do? He just reach out to you saying, "Hi, Xenia, can you get me a publication in Forbes?" How does it work?
Anastasia, to be honest, there are more tier one media outlets which are much cooler than Forbes, and we can cover them.
Like what?
Of course, I would like to recommend to cover TechCrunch. I guess it's one of top media outlets we can cover. And it's really hard to be interested for the editorial team, but we can try to do it. Sometimes just one drop in TechCrunch can raise your valuation so fast. And another media outlets, tier two, tier three media outlets will talk about you.
Amazing. You know what? I myself have a lot of experience with I don't know who they are. Are they journalists or are they editors? A lot of them are texting me on my DM saying, "Hey, Anastasia, I like what you do. How about I publish your article in our media?" So when I reply yes, they usually ask for some money starting from £500 and then to infinity and beyond. Is this scam?
It could be a scam. You shouldn't pay any journalist before they will send you the draft of the publication. After the draft, you can send them money, but it could be just money for copywriting work. It shouldn't be a big amount of money, for example, 3,000 US dollars.
Okay. So it's okay to pay $500, but it's not okay to pay thousands of dollars. It must be scam if they asking you for so much money.
Yeah, because the journalist shouldn't pay such a big charge for their platform, but it's also not a guarantee that you will be covered there. You should estimate all risk you can face here and pay just for the draft. If journalists will not publish about you, you can go with this draft to another journalist and ask him to cover about you. Or you can hire a good PR manager, and this good PR manager can change the angle a little bit if it's necessary. And when you approve your draft, you can go to another journalist and ask him for publication, for example.
Basically, you can publish the same material in a lot of media outlets. Is that right?
No, if you share some secure numbers, it's better to send them under embargo.
Makes sense, I guess. Thank you. So, right now you're working for Glam AI. Can you walk me through what you have exactly done for them? Because Glam AI, come to think of it, is a fascinating case, right? They become profitable since month 6 or 7. I mean, it's crazy without raising any funds. What did you exactly do to help them grow?
I can describe my work as a full cycle of PR work. We run blog posts to be visible on narrow links, for example, ChatGPT. When you type what Glam AI is, you can see our blog posts. It ranges really well. Second, when you type Glam AI in your search, in your Google search, for example, you see our media publications. It builds trust to our product. We didn't just cover US tier 1 media outlets. We also covered US tier 2 and tier 3 media outlets, like a local ones. For example, California Observer. This is a tier 3 media outlet. But people who can be our potential partners, they live in this region. And this article ranges really good for people who located in California.
So it sounds like a strategy to me, right? You don't get published in random media outlets.
This talk is about strategy, and we have a strong strategy. If you are just interested in headlines, in really bright headlines, you can cover different regions. It's not really hard to cover, for example, Middle East region. It's not really hard to cover Latin American region. You can do it and you can get your bright headlines. But we have the big goal. We should be visible for people who we are really interested in collaboration with.
That makes sense. In the beginning, you've mentioned that PR can be both internal and external. I do understand the external part. However, the internal doesn't stick with me yet. Could you elaborate?
I can describe internal PR as a theme which can strengthen relations between your employees in your team. It's about team building, it's about supporting each other when someone participate on conferences, for example. When you have strong internal PR, it's much easier to build external PR. I can give you a real example. If you covered VentureBeat, for example, you have an article there. What you should do? You should do your article more visible. You should get the most views you can. Here, you can attract your employees, your colleagues, to support the article. First of all, they should read the article, and would be great if they share the article on their social media channels. For example, Instagram, Telegram, LinkedIn, especially. We shouldn't avoid internal PR. We should share our success with every member of our team, our tech updates, our PR updates. Every member of your team should share common values you build in this company.
If I want to start doing internal PR, where should I start from?
You should talk to every member of your startup. It's not a big deal to have a quick call with every person of your team. You will not have a clear picture of how your team works if you do not talk to each other by yourself.
So, speaking about the next milestone for you, for your career, where are you headed?
I really would like to be a spokesperson, visit more conferences. Now I'm open to advise founders and teams on building and scaling PR that actually deliver results. If you still have no strategy, I'll design one tailored to your business goals. If you already have existing strategy, I can audit it given by clear direction and positioning.
Okay, let's say a founder wants to work with you. What would be the best way to reach out to you?
Feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn page. I'm happy to offer you a free introductory call where we can discuss your current PR goals and how I can support you with them.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So let's wrap up little by little. And I want to finish with a question I usually ask at the end of the episode. Here's the question: what's one idea, one takeaway that the audience should have after listening to this episode?
I want to talk to tech guys. Stop underestimating what you are building. You shape the future. We PR specialists love you. Keep going.
Oh, that's so sweet. And on this note, I want to thank you for coming to this episode and share your insights on PR, which I'm sure a lot of technical founders would find incredibly useful. Thank you so much for coming today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here with you today.